Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. Welcome to another edition of the program Africa Discourse. I am Wilson Marshall, your host. Today is all about the International Monetary Fund loans to Africa countries. And of course, to take a look at it from Tunisia's point of view, or Tunisia's ordeal, because this is the first time Tunisia is appealing to its members of parliament to allow them go to IMF to ask for loans. Talking about $4 billion, if I'm not making a mistake. And the Tunisian government were thinking about it. The citizens have been thinking about it. They're saying, look, you went ahead to IMF to get the first loan, second loan, third loan, and right now you're going for the fourth loan. What in the world is happening? Does it mean that Tunisia is going under, or they're totally down and out when you talk about economy? Don't forget that the Arab Spring started from Tunisia. Are they still suffering from the adverse effect of the Arab Spring? Or can one blame it on COVID-19? Because anyone is trying to look for any a thing to hold on to as an excuse to why they're not performing, how will I put it now, so well, economically speaking. But the parliament, the Tunisian parliament, would really agree to this plea, because Abbasid Marouna is like begging the central bank governor of Tunisia, is like saying, please, we need this or else we'll go under. Now, if you now link this to other African countries, IMF and loans given to African countries, are they really helping us? Or we are undermining our potentials to really make us have a stable economy? What do you think of political implication? What about the social implication? What about economic implication? All these and more we'll take a look at in today's discussion segment of Africa Discourse. With me here in the studio, I have two legal practitioners and of course human rights activists. I'd like to start my introduction by introducing the legal practitioner from my far left. Join me, welcome Barrister Emmanuel Obapolo. Barrister, welcome to Africa Discourse. Appreciate your comment.
Good afternoon, Wilson and viewers at home.
All right. I sit very close to him. It's been a long time to be here with me in the studio. In fact, eons of years. And he's laughing. Barrister Patrick Awosaige, welcome to Africa Discourse.
It's my pleasure, Wilson.
Appreciate your comment.
And hello, folks at home.
All right. Now, this is not the first time African nation will go cap in hand asking for loans. But when we get to Tunisia, we got to Tunisia, we've discovered that this is the fourth loan they are going for. And people are thinking, what is really happening? You went for the first loan in 2014, after the Arab Spring, during COVID-19, post-COVID-19. Does it mean that the Tunisian economists, talking about the planners of the economy, they are failing that country? Because right now, they're going again, cap in hand, to beg for loan. Barrister Manuel.
Wilson, I want to agree with you absolutely. Because first and foremost, let's look at from the angle of the law that gave birth to the IMF loan. Article 1 of the IMF Article of Agreement Loan provides that loan will be given to every member who has investors, and that loan must be under adequate safeguard. Now, looking at it from the angle of the loan is not meant for jamboree. The loan is not meant to improve your economy. The loan is not meant to help you to get what you want at a particular time. The loan is just a mere assistance to you on what you have on ground as your plan on improving or developing your economy. Now, if you look at the African setting, like Tunisia and most African countries, now, there are factors we must consider to know whether or not this a loan facility from IMF, because we should know that it's a credit facility. It goes with interest and other conditions, which they will not tell me and you. And when you now get that kind of facility, you'll be paying interest. So, and when you now mismanage that facility, the economy has problem. like in Tunisia and most African countries, like I did say, is that the fiscal policy and the debt policy of most African countries is zero.
Zero.
Yes. And when you now have that kind of situation or plight, and you now want to go and get a loan like this from IMF, it will not improve your economy. Because one, the economy is badly poor. Two, the fiscal policy is badly poor. Three, the debt policy is badly poor. So there will be no improvement. And that is why you see most times, most African countries, government that go for loans like this, they just see the loan as a mere jamboree, a gift. They take the loan, they waste it, they tell you they use it for this, they use it for that. You don't use that kind of facility, like I said, from the outset, to create job. You don't use that kind of facility to do one business. That's why Article 1 of it already makes provision for what loans of that nature should be used for.
All right, I will come back to you, Barrister Emmanuel Obakpolo. Barrister Patrick Awosaige, you heard him give an example of an article that supports the giving out of the loan by the International Monetary Fund. Here we are, Tunisia. This is the fourth time within a short period of time they are going for handouts. What do you feel about this?
Well, he has said so much here, but we must consider certain indices. For you to borrow, you must be credit worthy. And that's why on my own opinion, I'm of the opinion rather that it's actually a gang up. It's my words, my opinion. I feel the Westerners or those key actors or the main factors that drive the IMF, so to say, they are not being sincere to the African countries. Excuse me. Now, if you look at it, bearing in mind that these leaders, so to speak, have no visible agendas to drive their economy, to inspire their people, and to give sound and quality leadership, why keep giving money to people you know are wasters? Then you have an ulterior motive. In as much as I hold the African leaders, you know, to what they have taken loans for and all of that, remember the Paris Club of Obasanjo's time, how he went to negotiate the, you know, we should get out of the loans and all of that, which was laudable then. But what I'm saying, even in our conventional day-to-day banking transaction, you don't walk up to the bank and demand for loan facility and they throw the money at you. But I know occasions where young men go to the bank, maybe his father left him an estate, and the manager stands up and says, well, you need money. How much do you need? Say, I need 40 million. They say, okay, fine. What's your collateral? I say, you have XYZ mansion in Lekki and all of that, which is over 500 million. So, oh, that's good. That's good. We are in. It's that kind of structure I'm seeing. You are seeing the opportunity to immerse, to ensure you keep getting from them, even if they squander the money. And those young men eventually are unable to pay back because they are not principled, they are not trained, they don't have the wherewithal to run their businesses or their father's business or whatever they said they were going to use the money for. So that's what's playing out. So it's a way of getting monies to these people. Like you just said, it's like a gift to them. One who is clueless, I'm sorry, with all respect, I don't intend to cast aspersion at them.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm trying to look at, if you put, just suppose what they're doing, it doesn't make any sense. You are a leader. You are a country's leader. You are not a leader of a filling station somewhere. You are a national leader. What have you done? You are talking of collecting facilities to create jobs for your people. That suggests to me that should be some schizophrenic issue, some mental issue for a leader to talk that way. I think his brains and mind should be checked properly, whether it's intact. Because you are going to pull money that you will be paying interest on, and the conditions are so stiff, and you are not doing anything. You want to create jobs that have not started yielding anything. That suggests to say you already plan to fail from beginning. So if you take a critical look at this is what have been the narrative in all of these African states, crying, thank God for the big one now. There is COVID, there is COVID, there is COVID. Even prior to COVID's time, you have not been doing well. Except for Rwanda and, you know, one or two other African countries, how many of them are really doing well trying to change the narrative from what we are always cap in hand begging, we are cap in hand begging, we are a poor nation, we don't have the wherewithal. You have not developed your people, you have not trained them, you have not built a research centers, you have not impacted your people to the best academic levels. Although we just have all manner of schools around and we talk about no real research, practical work. What are we doing? And that's basically what has been the issue. If you look at Tunisia now, the other time you saw the Arab Spring, somebody burning himself and all of that because there was so much pressure on him. The government should wake up to reality. If they continue like this, believe me, there will not be a Tunisia and any of some of these African countries will soon evaporate into the thin air.
There's some fall up, so to speak.
Oh yes, and become subservient to IMF and whims and caprices.
All right, there are conditions really backing up this loan. There are the conditions also Tunisia really need to meet. Now, with these conditions and, of course, the situation of Tunisia, do you think that this loan they are going in for is a trap, according to Barrister Patrick?
Yes, it's a trap. Because looking at the intent to go for loan facility of this nature, one, before you go for loan, it shows that you have financial crisis. That is the reason why you are going for loan. And now, there are two factors that cause financial crisis. One, you have the domestic factor. Two, you have the external factor. Now, let's take from the domestic factor. The domestic factor includes not giving your investors confidence to invest in your country. By so doing, investing to improve your economy. That is the domestic factor. Now, if you look at Tunisia, and you look at most African countries today will tell you that they have financial crisis. And funny enough, they all hang or hinge their financial crisis on COVID-19. Before COVID-19, we are not having all of these crises.
Obviously.
Now, one country that I saw, and I think to my mind is doing well, is Kenya. Kenya went for IMF loan, and from the outset of the loan process, they told IMF, look, this loan facility that we don't want the one that we will pay any interest. It should be interest-free. And because they make that call and cry, they were granted that. And the monies that was realized that was loaned them, they now channeled it to fighting COVID-19 pandemic. If you look, coming back home to Nigeria, today they will tell you COVID-19 is the cause of our problem. The economy is not improving because of COVID-19. But you and me know, Wilson, that this man will just sit down. In fact, that's why somebody said, and I want to agree with the person, that the COVID-19 we have in Nigeria is political COVID-19.
Political COVID-19?
Yes. And that's why you see the economy. First, like I did say, look at your fiscal policy. What type of program? What nature of fiscal policy we have? But the indebtedness policy is increasing by the second. We are discussing Tunisia. We also forget that Nigeria also is going for another loan. But we are talking of Tunisia. To my mind, the future of Nigerians is being sold out. And we say, I'm afraid. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of my learned senior here. I'm not afraid of myself. I'm afraid for our children. Because these children today, they have fragile brain. That they cannot comprehend some of all this. They will see it as abracadabra. And that is why you see that by the time they go for all this loan, they get the money. They don't know what to do with the money. And the IMF, they are very happy seeing poor countries, seeing most African countries coming for the loan. How many Western countries go for the loan?
Good point. How many Western countries go for these loans? Though we have few numbers of countries that go for the loan, but there are ways they do their things quite different from African countries. Now, we keep talking about IMF loan, but this time around, the Central Bank of Tunisia talking about the governor wants to go make an appeal to the parliament to give him the permission to go get this loan. Do you think the parliament will agree to this?
Well, if they do, whether I think...
Because this is the fourth time they're going for the loan.
Obviously, they will always overpower them with superior arguments and giving reasons. Nobody wants to bear the brunt because they know it's like a sinking ship already. And then now when they're saying, we need to revamp, we need to do this. And if the parliament say, no, we're not going to support you, we're not going to agree, the people will not see it. They will not paint a picture that whatever we are facing now is caused by the parliament. I remember it happened in Nigeria when Bukola Saraki was Senate president, and I heard some quarter said, oh, if not that the Senate president is fighting us, if not that Bukola is not cooperating, Nigerians would have been enjoying some benefit now. So all the while that Lawa had been there now, I'm waiting for the benefits and have not seen. I'm just giving instances. So there will be room for, people to blame. These are the people. These are the people that have not allowed us to make progress. And that is why we are suffering. So the average man, God help you, that they turned you against your people and they pick up stones, they won't spare you. So they are definitely going to come out and say, well, we agree, and under gentleman arrangements, we can give them some tea and some money to buy some grocery. You know what that is. Some lobbying. They call it lobbying. But we know it's bribery. But they call it lobbying.
Kick back and kick forward.
Kick back and kick forward. Then take some stuff and they laugh again and they say they're hard meeting. It beats my imagination. When we're looking at some of these things, a whole lot of things come to mind.
Yeah.
Now, you look at Ayuba now calling off strike amidst, you being called for and, declared wanted by a sitting governor. Is that not an insult on the entire Labour Congress? You have not treated that issue. You have not reacted to that, act of a governor saying, I'm not going in there.
Anyway, the president says in charge of that situation
we are trying to see, this is an African thing.
Yes.
We must be consigned, not just to make some statements, as it were.
True.
I'm trying to look at it from this. We don't address issues that we should address. And now, you get the loans. They will definitely agree. I know that's a simple question they're asking me. They are going to agree. If you don't agree, there are ways they can make you agree. You may not do it. I remember one party chairman resigned, and he came to tell the world that somebody put a gun on his head and said you should go and resign. He said he sat with him in his house and said resign with a gun. So why were you talking about that? So would you have the powers the president has and the central? But it's just for formality. Otherwise, they don't really need you to talk. We talk about two-third majority and all those things. I think the leadership of Africans, African leadership, they don't respect those constituted authority. They believe that's why the presidential election is always is for me. If my team wins, we're in charge. So when we get on board, now let me tell you the truth. This money is not actually to help the economy. I'm telling you that. Go and verify it. You can go back. Because if that's what they intend to do, what are the progresses you've recorded from the previous monies you have collected? At least, before I move from class 1 to 2, I should show costs that I'm worthy of being promoted to class 2. Now, if IMF is sincere in themselves, they should also ask, because they actually have to restructure their economy and ensure that they put certain things right, and government should not hold grip on certain governmental and the whole lot of civil service that they are paying so much to people that are doing nothing. Send them out to go and work. To do some other private businesses.
Okay.
I think that is basically how I see it.
Okay, now he said the parliament, maybe due to arm twisting, they may just succumb to the Central Bank of Tunisia. Yeah, talking about the government of the Central Bank of Tunisia to go for that loan. The first, second, third, and of course this is the fourth loan they are clamoring for. Do you think that it is wiser and smarter for them to go for the Chinese loan other than going for IMF loan?
Going for any kind of loan is wrong. Whether Chinese, whether Japanese, whether Korean loan. Because all of this loan, like we have discussed here, they are credit facilities. They have interest rates that the government pays. And you don't go for a loan to pay salary. You don't go for a loan to build bridges. Why the reason why you are going for a loan, I have just said it here, I enumerated 2 factors, is that one, you must look at your fiscal policy. Then you must also consider your debt policy. So that is when you will now know whether or not you are due for the loan you are going for. We saw in this country some time ago, they took loan to pay salaries. We saw in this country some time ago, when they discovered that going to get loan would be a problem for them, they now started printing money and they denied it. So the African states is a problem of itself. And that is why you see the future is what? Dim and blinking. Because we have not been able to sit down and say, okay, what is really our problem? Somebody said, a problem known is half solved. I tell you, Wilson, our political leaders don't even know what our problem is.
Are you sure they don't know?
They don't know.
It's just to find solutions to this problem. That seems to be the hassle.
They are not looking for a solution to any problem. And that's why you see they keep borrowing, they keep going for loan. If they know what the problem is, then you sit down and give the problem. First, you attempt a domestic solution to the loan.
Absolutely. And which is very
attempt a domestic solution. It is when the domestic solution is not working, you will now go for external solution. Now, when I was talking about financial crisis, I mentioned domestic factor and external factor. I only explained the domestic. Now, I want to go for the external. Mind you, Wilson, the loan you are going to get from the person you are going to get it from, whether IMF, whether China, whether Chinese, they have just one interest, is how to make money from that loan they are giving you. And that's why we saw today, China is controlling Zambia. Their immigration service is under the whims and caprices of China. Because now, China gave them the loan facility they demanded. China may even, and I want to tell you, I want to use this platform to say it, that the IMF, they are part of the problem Africa is facing.
Are they part of the problem or part of the solution?
Part of the problem. They see Africa as where they can milk out anything.
That's correct.
Because nature blessed Africa.
That's correct.
And because of that, their interest is in Africa. That's why I asked, how many of the Western countries go for the loan? More countries that go for this loan are African countries. And they not term us poor countries, poor countries. Who is poor? It's mismanagement that is our problem. And they are happy they aid our leaders for us to remain poor so that they can come in and pretend that they want to assist us. Meanwhile, their interest is to milk us.
All right. Their interest to milk us, according to Barrister.
According to me.
Well, take a look at Africa. They've been indebted into the tunes of going to trillions of dollars right now. When we talk about the loan, of course, the interest accrued to IMF. And now we have China, on the other hand, trying to give us, according to them, give us soft landing by giving us this same loan, but different agreement, different interest rate. And if you take a look at this scenario, really, some of you know that IMF and of course this country is trying to give African countries loan is to help Africa, but the problem is leadership. How do you view this comment?
Well, thank you very much, Wilson. We have belabored this position for too long, and talking about trying to help the African people and citizens as it stands when they were giving out facilities to boosting our economy as it's supposed to be. Now, we must look at it clearly. You were giving, before you give out loan, I tried to set something before now. You don't give loan to someone who doesn't understand how to manage or is not going to use it for anything as it stands. Now, the loan itself has a lot of negative issues on it. It's not all about I'm getting money. It's not a grant. It's something, it's called loan. And if you are giving out a loan to someone, that person should be, if you are really having his interest at heart, you will guide him. I remember those days, before the bank dole out money to you, they will come check, you have your factory running, is it to full capacity? Oh, they will even suggest, no, you need a new plant. So that you will be able to have electricity for production to maximum, so as to maximize profits. Where have these guys done this? No. They just come to Abuja or wherever the capital is, sit down, in a round table, drink some tea, and then move around, and then maybe eat some of the traditional food and speak some of the language together, and then they jet back to their countries, you know, and that's the end. So they don't follow through, and that suggests to say it's not a good loan. It's already having some issues from the beginning. You know these guys are not going to do what you expect them to do. But at the end, you only push them to take these loans.
All right, now you just hold on. Continue with your train of thought after this break. Don't go anywhere. This is Africa Discourse. It's all about the IMF loan to African countries, Tunisia, Ordeal. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Yes, you saw the headlines on various media platforms talking about the mainstream media, where you can get some stories, some of them not really cool. Yeah, I can tell you that. Anyway, that is a part of the discussion for today. It's all about IMF loans to African countries. Tunisia is a deal. This is a fourth time since 2014 they are going for IMF loans. I want to appeal to the parliament to please approve these loans so that they can really stabilize the economy. My analysts, they have divergent views. In course of our discussion, we'll talk about African countries going cap in hand to get loans from big bodies like IMF, big bodies like the Paris Club, you just name it, China trying to hand out loans, they call it grants to African countries, implications and all that. That is what we're taking a look at on today's discussion on Africa Discourse. I have Barrister Emmanuel Obakpolo and of course Barrister Patrick Awo Osage with me here in the studio. They're trying to share their thoughts and of course their opinion on this particular issue. This is not the first time we're talking about this, but despite the talk, the hues and cry, countries in Africa still go cap in hand asking for these grants. Barrister Patrick,
yes,
continue from where you stopped.
Like I did said, the loans, you have not walked them through to check what exactly do you want to do. Other than they are the government in charge, okay, they have the capacity. Yes, I know that if a government leaves office, obviously the country is still there. You can keep demanding and collecting what you have to do. If you really mean well for these countries, you will follow through and see and monitor. And you have rights to say, we'll give it to you in these installments. You don't have to dole out everything. I don't know how the transit so desire to get it across to them. That is what, in an ideal situation, what should be done. But that is not done. So it suggests to say it's just a way of pushing the country into more trouble and jeopardy. This was to come in and say, well, you couldn't pay this, like he talked about. What country was that again?
Kenya.
Kenya. No, that they have taken over. No, not Kenya.
Zambia.
Yes. That they have taken over their immigration, Imagine your immigration is not in the hands of strangers. It doesn't add up anything. It's so just to say your sovereignty is shaking. And that makes no sense to me. What ideally these loans should be checked critically, whether IMF or Chinese loan as they call it. Now, what has made the Chinese? Because they developed themselves. If you look at Germany today now, 87% of automobiles driven around the world is made in Germany. And Germans are just human beings. So that you have human beings who have been trained. That suggests to say research centers. And what is it that other nations want from us? If you are plowing this money into those areas to see how you could make and expand production and exporting these things, so ensure there is exchange that will boost your economy, not to use it to construct bridge, or you want to build a new palace, or you want to build government house. It doesn't add up. That is the basic problem they are having. And now the leaders are not having the people at heart. Obviously, that's clear. Because I learned a few days ago from someone that a local government ward councillor built a bridge in Bayelsa. And I was wondering, that's phenomenal.
In Bayelsa? Built a bridge?
Built a bridge. And I was wondering, I need to meet such what do you call them? Councillor. And the fellow said, I had actually wanted the local government to do it, but they keep saying there's no money. And what they have given to me, I plow it together and I put this up for my people. That's phenomenal. That's somebody who have the people at heart.
At heart.
So if governance is all about serving the people like we chant and speak when we are campaigning around, that's what should be uppermost on their mind. And that is what it is. Okay, leaders are not ready. They don't really mean well for the people. They just want to pull money out. Build houses or buy properties abroad and send your children to school in Canada or Los Angeles somewhere, and they can live their life there while you keep working on the farmland as a leader. And why now those guys coming from other countries borrowing? It's like just giving you just receive the money, plow it into your private businesses and leaving the country in shambles. That's what the state is. And when we keep living like this, we keep compounding trouble. And over time, the countries cannot survive and sustain itself.
Right.
It's all there is. So that's just how it is.
Now, can one deduce that from the trillions of loans, about trillions of dollars of loans, gotten by African countries via IMF or Chinese loan or the Paris Club loan, you just name it, are beginning to lose Africa to this particular group of individuals? Is that what the future is like right now?
Yes. If you look at the situation of Africa, like I did say, nature blessed Africa. And that's why you see IMF, Chinese loan, Japanese loan, or whatever they call it, they keep giving Africans this loan. Because they are also looking at it that, like for instance, take Nigeria. They say, Nigeria has oil. Whatever, come what may, we also have another way of getting back our money. So also is Tunisia. And that's why you see the people, if the people of Tunisia should wake up and tell the government that, look, you cannot go for this loan. If we want to perish, we should perish. Wait on without this loan. Because going for the loan, you are adding more problems to the ones we have. Because like you said from the beginning, the first loan they took, what did they do with it?
Nothing.
What improvement do they have in the economy? If the economy is not improved, how will the lives of the people be improved? That is the questions we should be asking ourselves. Yeah, so it's not a matter of just going to get loan somewhere. And this IMF or the international monetary policy, they are always happy when they see African countries coming for the loan. And like I said, they will not be saying they are the ones who tell us Africans are very corrupt. Africans are very poor. Who is making us to be corrupt? Wilson, can you tell me corruption in your own tribe? I don't know that in my tribe. I cannot give you the word corruption. They taught us. That's why some time ago, this veteran journalist, this man in NTA, our papa here, in Benin here.
Well, later, when the name comes to
also
you,
a lawyer.
can just
Yes.
continue. Yes.
Now, there was a time he was interviewed by a CNN correspondent. And the man, Tony Regia. And the man said, do you know African countries are very corrupt? He said corruption is a two sides of a coin. Both the giver and the receiver. So, and that is what IMF they are doing to us. They give us and they take it back again and add more problems to us. That's why these loans, we must not go for it. African countries should stop going for all these foreign loans. The IMF is not set up to improve African economy. IMF is not set up to make African economy, to boost African economy. IMF is set up by those who set it up to make money. They are making interest for themselves. And that's why you see they keep giving us the loan. And our leaders will just go there, just take the loans and put it in their pockets. And tomorrow they will tell you they build this one. Like both of us have agreed.
You used one phrase, put it in their pocket. Is that the fault of IMF?
It is their fault.
In what ways?
My learned friend here asked a german question. He said, now, those days, if you want to go to a bank, just for instance, let's take Lapo here. If you want to go to Lapo to get a loan, they will not be talking about collateral. They'll be asking you what do you want to do. They'll say, go and bring a proposal.
Absolutely.
That's what they'll tell you. And you will not just bring the proposal on paper and come and give to them and they'll give you the money. They will follow up the proposal. They will go and see it. You will defend it. They will go and see the plans on ground. You cannot, if you don't have plans on ground, you come for loan, they will not give it to you.
It must be found working.
Yes. So, and that is why IMF is part of this conspiracy against Africa. They don't follow up. They don't say anything. We don't see publication. We don't see their modus operandi.
They believe that the leaders have matured enough to control the resources given to them. That's what they believe.
How would they
a man that matured enough to put the money given to you.
When they have not lived up to expectations.
We see, if I come to you to give me loan, it shows that I'm surrendering myself to your superiority.
Absolutely.
That is the meaning. True. So you should be able to guide me. And now in a situation where you don't guide me, you have conspired with me. Maybe because you have conspired with me against my family. So if my children rise up tomorrow against you, they are right. And that's why you see, some time ago, you see Nigerians stood up and said, during the NSAS something, you see the youth saying, don't give our leaders loan again. We will not pay the loan because we are not the ones that took the loan.
Yes, I heard that.
That is the situation. So the IMF, there is a conspiracy theory between this monetary organization and African political leaders.
All right. Now, from what they're saying, that look, if they don't go for this loan, inflation will become 2 digits. They're going about 18-point-something%. And from what they're saying, also no job. The economy is in shambles. It is this loan. So kind of revamp the economy. That is the reason why they're going for the loan for the fourth. For the fourth time.
It's funny. They should allow the 2 digits to come. There was a Great Depression, 1923, thereabouts. The Western, the Great Depression. The world did not crash. That's where people have to start thinking and improvising ways to do things. I must celebrate the Abacha's government. You remember those days when he was head of state, the economy to a large extent was stable. I must tell you. And this one man you say who didn't have any all this grammar here and there, economic policy back and forth. He didn't do any of those things. And I must say again, all the loots that we talked about the Abacha, to date, we are still recovering from a man that really didn't tie himself with so many. So where did he get all of this from? It suggests to say there's so much money within. But he shut them out. He settled down. And then he began to pull this money to productive use in his own sense of it, starting it up abroad. Until dates, how long now that Abacha died, that we are still recovering, getting Abacha's loot? If Abacha was one of government's parastater, would have been so rich. I'm trying to draw a narrative.
Picture, yeah.
No, if you look at it, we keep talking of loan. We have all the risks to do stuff here. Let's concentrate inward. Let's go back and stop this noise making of loans. Somebody was talking to me in the bank today. I said, let's stop about this loan. He said, we are pushing them now. You want them to buy a car. What is car loan? What is wrong with your boss? And you are applying the boss. He said, I'm very harsh. I said, yes. We have to tell ourselves the truth. You don't have to keep going for loan and later you are using fasting and prayer to pay your loans. I know Nigerians who are very religious people. Very soon I will start binding the demons in IMF. There is no demon in IMF. You need to use commerce and use sense to put these things right.
Demons in IMF.
And then very soon then you're not going to Mecca to go and pray. The Tunisians that can go and pray that, they are not taking loan for. Come on feet and let's sit down. The government should collapse and streamline your expenses. You don't have to be so rich and you are in government, and that's basically what it is. There are several things that need not spend money on. They should look inward, encourage the local factories and industries, and let everybody get back to what they need to do. And they will be able to help the economy like that. Then we heal over time. It's not going to be easy. Like I mentioned, the Great Depression. Okay, if the Western world, they will not survive. Let's just imagine that we didn't have an IMF. Will human beings die? We'll always improvise. We will look inward and we'll find solution. And we will not die. Okay, during COVID, whoever thought the world would be able to stay without activities for that long? Nobody ever believed that. But you could see that even at that instance, a lot of people now began to show some kind gestures. You see the likes of the celebrities going out of to their warehouse, buying stuff and sharing food items. We all ate. A lot of people were not working.
We all ate.
I mean, everybody. I'm saying we including you, we survived. We were eating.
Palliatives.
Palliatives.
We all.
Hold on.
Whether
direct palliative or not,
we all. You have to be more specific.
Hold on. Can Can I
Barrister,
correct?
did you even palliative?
I'm not talking
They
about
hit my
palliative.
own.
No, I'm not
My
talking
own
about palliative.
palliative was
Look at
hidden.
it.
All right,
You
all right.
as a person,
Yeah.
you helped some people.
Of course.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
There were people that couldn't feed, that you went. I'm aware that you gave out food items.
Yes.
So we were not favorably disposed towards persons around us. They didn't die and you were not any.
Okay.
How did you survive? You were not any more. You were not giving out. You were forced to give because they will come to you. I know somebody heard me and said, no, I need food now. I had to make available these things. And there was not any. But we keep saying if we don't end, we will not survive. We will all survive. We'll go back to the farm and set our traps.
Because that we all
We will all survive. We, you, me, and everybody, Buhari and all of us will survive. We don't need the loan.
All right. Now, is it not high time we put a stop to, all these kind of loans be given to African countries, knowing fully well that some countries in Africa, they are still shaking when we talk about economy? How do you think those countries in Africa without natural resources will survive without IMF loans or the Chinese loan or the Paris Club loan?
Let me take an example with Nigeria at independence.
Okay.
Our founding fathers, how did they run the country, the economy? We had 3 regions, later 4 regions. How did they manage it? Did they go for IMF loan?
No.
So what is the big deal about this loan now? Why is it that our leaders are not chasing loan? Take for instance, there's nothing like IMF loan, Chinese loan, no loan. Does that mean we will not survive?
We should go back to farm. Cocoa.
We see. The truth,
not pyramid.
the chloroquine bitter truth is that our leaders should sit up. Africans are very hardworking people.
Yes.
But our leaders are disappointing us. And that is why you see all of this problem. At the end of the day, all these monies they gather, what are they doing with it? I was told, the then Bende State, that Bende State alone has almost 65 factories and industries.
65?
Yes, Bende State.
Okay.
That was way back, not
yes,
now.
45 in Sapele alone. 45 in Sapele alone. The question now is, how many do we have now? The Ajakuta Steel, the other one in Delta State, Alaja, the Castina, where are they? Is that not why we are chasing loans? Yes. Anyway, we hear loan, we are chasing it. Because we are not prepared. We destroyed everything. It's a pity that we find ourselves in this kind of situation. And it's a pity for our leaders. We are using this platform to tell them, look, don't go for any loan again. The people of Tunisia should rise up against the government and say, don't go for any loan because you are destroying our future.
Can a hungry man rise up against the government?
Yes, and that is
because right now they are very, very hungry according to reports.
But you know the adage that say a hungry man is
an angry man.
It's an angry man. So the people are hungry. In fact, when they say the hungry man, the people are not that hungry. The hunger we are talking about here is hunger of the mind.
Hunger of the mind?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, do you see another Arab Spring coming up? Because what is happening right now? Because this is the 4th time they're going for a loan and the economy is totally in shambles.
It's a possibility. Because, the way they are, they have
short fuse.
Like my uncle said the other time. They could just react in ways that you can't believe and predict, and you won't blame them for it. They have been pushed to the wall. Somebody took a throw and burned himself up the other time. So they are not happy. They have given, the government so much opportunity and time to do the needful. And the moment they are unable to do that, what do you expect? So there's a possibility. But again, however, that should not be what they should be thinking of now. But if I were to advise them, they should start looking inward and start looking away from government. I think this thing called government is what have really destroyed a whole lot of people's mind. Like you talked about the poverty of the mind. They should look inward. There's something you can do. A man built a house somewhere, and I think, was it not, he had a place, was it not Dubai, and then he was trying to, and then I told him, look, instead of you living, you don't have so much. We could take one of your apartments and convert it to lodgements. And he agreed. he was telling his story, how he became an owner of a massive hotel somewhere in Dubai. And he was talking about, look at, you must look inward. That room had been there. He didn't see it. We should train people. We should go into, he talked about 45 factories, 65 in the dam. What is happening now? That's why I must commend our governor now that he's trying to reclaim some of those things we own. Look at the secretariat now. It's befitting, it's lovely, and we can commend him for that. It was some hideout for some people. You just look at it, some dirty building, high-rise dirty, or some, building that, but as it stands now, gradually start bringing people back to what they should do. Engage our young men, then you won't find them running on the streets idle, doing nothing. So when people are working and they can earn, and you set this competition, and government say, okay, if you can own this and own that. I remember what Donald Duke was doing then. To the fact that they were even frying Gary, and they were not selling their local Gary to their people. To the people. And you can see, you could get people to do this job. We have the number here. We have over 200 million. We really don't need all this noise making. Get busy here. Is it in real estate? Is it in the farming? We have people that will buy our food and we will eat, and we won't export if we don't have the wherewithal. If you are buying machines to boost production, I will support that. That you are buying machines to boost production so that we can export and make money. And that will be fine. Not that you are borrowing and then, definitely, like you just asked that question, it's a possibility. But my prayer is not for that to happen, because you are going to destroy what has been on ground
built
before,
already.
And then these men that are in power now, they will only get out of the country to go and cool off somewhere with their friends. And I must quickly say again, I see a conspiracy like here established too, that you are giving us loans. Why this fast-track loan? When things are working too quick, they announce it today, before you know it,
it's there, given already.
Given. So probably there are some arrangements, what we call gentleman arrangements, that when the money comes, some percentage goes to some key personalities, which we say, well, you cannot prove that. I know that's the next thing you're going to ask me.
Of course, why not? Because you cannot prove it, really. You just can't prove it.
I know that some pumps have been greased.
You cannot prove that.
You know very well. I know you know your innermost skill, your subconscious, But you will ask me, can you prove it? I don't have to prove anything. We know what is happening and what's obtainable. So that is what we are saying. Right. So for it to be fast-tracked like that, so just walk up to IMF and then say you want to get a loan, and you are now appealing, everybody is begging, then somebody is going to benefit somewhere. All right. And these are things we should not encourage. Okay, as the economy as it stands. Okay, as we are still talking, they're talking to the parliament to see if there'll be a swing, so to speak, for them to go get that loan. Tunisia is not an exception. If you go around Africa, many of them are indebted, and many of them are still seeking for either the Chinese loan or the IMF loan, or the loan they think or they feel will make the economy come back to life. Gentlemen, 1 minute each. Advice to African countries, African leaders still clamoring, having in the back of their mind to go for these loans. 1 minute each.
For me, like I said, we should look at our domestic improvements. They should look at the fiscal policy and the debt policy. The government should look within and see what the government can do to generate funds, to see how it can improve our economy. When the economy is improved and the economy keeps improving, there will be no need for any loan.
No. Thank you so much, Barrister Manu Bakbalo. Barrister Patrick.
Well, like I've said earlier on, there's no hardship that we cannot weather, no matter if we are willing and determined. If you look at how, what's his name? The former Prime Minister of Great Britain, he said he
David Cameron or who?
No, not David Cameron. I'm talking of during the war. What's his name again?
Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill. Okay. Thank you very much. He said, I kept hope alive. Despite it was becoming an issue, he kept hope alive. So they should wake up and look inward. Don't be in a hurry to cause the change. Change starts gradually. And before you know it, you will build. Look at Chinese people. You are talking of Chinese law. They built their country, and they are so committed to the building of their country. So let every country do the same. Follow suit. Follow suit. Instead of you thinking, it's Abraham Lincoln that said, John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country will do for you, but rather ask what you will do for your country. Now, not going to borrow. That's not what you are doing for your country. You sacrifice, like that woman or a man that built that bridge. you know, it's phenomenal. People should be ready to sacrifice.
All right.
And they should look inward and do the needful.
Thank you
That's
so
how
much, gentlemen. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Let's see what the Parliament of Tunisia will do. Are they going to tell the governor of the Central Bank of Tunisia to go ahead to get the loan to revamp the economy, which is already in shambles, shattered? They want to revamp it according to them. African countries also, they are thinking about it. They are now hinging on the COVID-19 pandemic. Hi, COVID-19. Anyway, thank you once more, gentlemen. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Well, we keep giving information about what is happening in the continent on this platform, Africa Discourse. We'll do it again next week, Monday, God willing. Bye for now.